How's everybody doing today? Been a while since I've had a ramblings of a short, fat, bald guy. Um, gonna just tell you real quick. This is gonna be fairly short, I would assume. I'm not really gonna get into politics. I think we all know what kind of mess our country is in right now. I'm sure that all of my MAGA friends uh, will disagree with anything that I say anyway. And, when it comes right down to it, I think regardless of whether you're Republican or Democrat, whether you're MAGA or you're not, we're screwed as a country. I think that we need to really fix the problem. And I hope that the country's around long enough that we can fix it because I still feel that our infamous commander in chief is leading us down a path that is going to end in World War III. And, I hope that's not the case, but we'll wait and see. Uh, it's frustrating to me. As some of you know, I was in the Army and I took an oath to the Constitution. And I also took an oath to the President and my commanding officers. However, the Constitution is first in that oath. Uh, and for the president to sit on TV and tell the entire world that he doesn't know whether he needs to obey the Constitution or not is just so appalling to me. But the far right doesn't seem to have a problem with it. And, I guess that's what we're going to be stuck with. People just apparently don't care that our democracy, in my opinion, is coming to an end. Uh, you know, I tend to be vocal on Facebook. I post things. I piss people off on a regular basis. Um, I've had people reach out to me and tell me that, I'm entering the last third of my life and I need to enjoy my life. I've got a pretty good life, and I do. Don't get me wrong. I do have a good life. I retired when I was 58 years old. When I retired, I started a successful business, a winery and brewery tour business. And in that time frame, I also wrote a novel, was picked up by a publisher, and it was published. The book's doing well, and I do have a good life. But I really fear that if things continue the way they are, my kids, grandkids are not going to have a good life. We're not billionaires, we're not rich. There's nobody in the family that's rich to the point that our families, as we die, are going to be live off of what we have, their inheritance. They're not. That's not going to happen. We don't have that kind of money, and the country being torn down the way it is right now. Of course, again, the MAGA folks are going to say, "Well, that's because the Democrats, the liberals, blah blah blah." You know what? When it comes right down to it, Democrat, liberal, Republican, conservative, whatever, I don't care. I'm all about being a good human being. And too many people have forgot that. It's time that we go back to being good human beings. I truly don't care what religion a person is that lives near me or doesn't live near me. I don't care what religion a person is. Everybody can choose their own religion or choose not to practice a religion. That's on them. I don't care what color people's skin is. Not are, sorry. I don't care what color people's skin is. It doesn't matter. You treat people nice. Be respectful. Be nice. Be polite. Is the border a problem? Yeah, it has been for decades. But of course, it's all Biden's fault. Um, you know, should people come here illegally? No. They shouldn't. But once they are in this country, they are entitled to the same rights as we are as far as due process. If they can deny due process to a suspected illegal, then they can deny due process to any of us. Whether we're citizens or not. I mean, let's be honest. I go somewhere in a car, I don't necessarily always have my ID with me. If I'm not driving, if I'm the passenger, I may not have ID with me. And if somebody, for whatever reason, would pull the car over and say, prove you're an American, how do you do that? It's called due process. And a lot of these folks aren't getting that. I'm not going to get into the Kilmer Abrego Garcia thing. There was a court order, but hey, apparently Trump is going to ignore Supreme Court in facilitating his return. And nobody's going to do a damn thing. It's time for everybody to get off their ass, Democrat and Republican, and support the Constitution, because that's the oath they took. So that's all I got to say for now. I know I said it wasn't going to be political. I guess I lied. But lying is okay in this day and age, so it shouldn't be an issue for any of you. The commander-in-chief is the biggest liar in the fucking world, but, nobody seems to care on one side. So, hey, have a good one.